Your bills negotiate themselves at 3 a.m. while you dream. Sound like science fiction? People who refuse to automate are working twice as hard for the same life. That's not a prediction. That's this Tuesday. Right now, there are people whose AI agents are rebooking flights during delays, disputing credit card charges, scheduling their kids' dentist appointments, and yes, calling Comcast to argue down that internet bill, all while they're asleep or in meetings or living their actual lives. And the gap between them and everyone else, it's not closing. It's accelerating. Dr. Aurea Vex has been tracking this for 3 years. And she says something that makes most people uncomfortable. The moment you stop thinking of AI as something you use occasionally and start thinking of it as your always-on representative in the digital world, you're not just saving time. You're becoming a different category of person. Someone who exists in 2 places at once. Your conscious mind focusing on what matters. Your AI extension handling the friction that used to devour your week. Here's what most people miss. You're already spending probably 6 to 8 hours every week on what I call administrative existence. Calling to reschedule appointments, waiting on hold with customer service, comparing prices across websites, following up on emails that should have been handled 3 days ago, researching which insurance plan covers the specific thing you need. It's not quite work, and it's not quite life. It's the tax you pay for participating in modern society. And here's the part that should make you angry. I solved this 18 months ago. Not theoretically, actually solved it. The technology to have an AI agent make phone calls on your behalf, navigate phone trees, negotiate with humans, and report back with results. That's not coming. That's here. The tools that can monitor your subscriptions, catch billing errors, find you better rates, and automatically initiate the switch. They exist right now. You're not waiting on the future. You're living in a present that's already left you behind if you haven't noticed this shift. Dr. Aurea Vex talks about the automation gap, and it's not what you think. It's not about jobs. It's about life design. It's the chasm between people who've realized they can delegate their entire administrative existence to AI and people who are still treating AI like a fancy search engine. One group is reclaiming 20 to 30 hours a month. The other group is still on hold with their cable company, thinking this is just how life works. Let me tell you about Maya Chen's moment of awakening, because this is where it gets real. 3 months ago, Maya was exactly where most of you are. She dabbled with ChatGPT for work stuff, maybe cleaned up an email or two, but she was still spending her Sunday afternoons doing what she called life admin. Bill review, calling about that weird charge, trying to get her bank to waive a fee. She had a whole notebook, her ever-present analog companion, where she tracked what needed to get done. It was killing her slowly, this death by 1,000 administrative tasks. Then her credit card got compromised, fraudulent charges. And she faced what you've probably faced. Calling the bank, disputing each charge individually, calling the merchants, following up, documenting everything. She calculated it would take maybe 8 hours, spread across 2 weeks, plus the mental overhead of tracking it all. She was complaining to a friend who said something simple. Why are you doing this yourself? That question changed everything. Her friend showed her AI tools designed specifically for this. Voice agents that can make calls, automation platforms that handle disputes, AI assistants that track every step and follow up automatically. Maya spent 1 hour on a Sunday afternoon setting up what she now calls her digital twin, not building it from scratch, using existing tools. She fed it her account information, the dispute details, her preferred communication style. She gave it permission to make calls on her behalf. Then she watched something remarkable happen. At 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, while she was in a work meeting, her AI agent called the credit card company, navigated the phone tree, waited on hold, which AI never minds, spoke to a human representative, explained the situation using the exact details Maya had provided, submitted the dispute, asked for a confirmation number, got transferred to fraud prevention, handled that conversation too, then sent Maya a complete transcript with outcomes and next steps. 17 minutes total. Maya did nothing. But it didn't stop there. The AI tracked the dispute timeline. When the merchant didn't respond in the required time frame, it called back automatically, escalated appropriately, referenced the previous conversation by confirmation number. Maya's notebook sat closed on her desk. She wasn't tracking anything anymore. Her AI extension was living in that administrative layer, acting as her persistent representative. By the end of 2 weeks, all 8 disputes were resolved. Maya had spent 90 minutes of actual attention. Setup, review, approval of actions. The AI had spent probably 40 hours of calendar time, but none of it was her time. It existed in parallel to her life. She told me the strangest part wasn't the time savings. It was the psychological shift. She stopped feeling like she was drowning in small tasks. She'd offloaded an entire category of existence, and then she started wondering, what else? Now her AI handles appointment scheduling across 3 family members, monitors all subscriptions, and alerts her to price increases, researches major purchases by comparing options across criteria she cares about, even handles some email triage and drafts responses for her approval. Maya didn't become more productive. She became a person whose attention is reserved for things that actually matter to her. This is the metaphor Dr. Aryavex uses. You have 100 units of attention every day. For most people, 60 of those units get absorbed by friction, the gap between intention and outcome. AI doesn't give you more units. It eliminates the friction so all 100 units can go toward the life you actually want to build. You're not optimizing. You're fundamentally restructuring how you exist in a world designed to waste your time. Here's your one action. Go to a tool called Bland AI or Air AI. These are voice AI agents you can set up in under 5 minutes. Pick one annoying call you've been putting off. Maybe it's negotiating a bill. Maybe it's canceling a subscription that makes it intentionally hard. Set up the AI agent with the details. Watch it make the call. You don't need to build anything. You don't need to code. You need to stop doing manually what AI already does better. The ones who adapt first will own the next decade.